Welcome to EnVision Center News. Today's episode is all about Canine Companions with volunteer puppy raiser Lilly Mitsui. We hope you enjoy. Welcome to EnVision Center News. I'm Sarah Hensel. I'm the Lead Resource Specialist and Volunteer Connect Coordinator. And today I have a very special guest with me. This is Lilly Mitsui. She is a volunteer puppy raiser for Canine Companions. And Canine Companions is basically a nationwide nonprofit that provides highly trained dogs to people in need. And we're just so happy to have you guys here. You've actually brought your puppy with you, Skipper, that you've been training.
Yeah.
And I just want to start off with getting to know a little bit more about you. So can you tell me, are you a North Idaho native?
No, not really. Originally from Ohio, outside of Cleveland, and moved over to the Pacific Northwest in the Seattle area in the 70s. And so made our way over here about 7 years ago.
Wow,
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
So how did you come about Canine Companions?
You know, I first read an article way back in late 90s, mid 90s maybe, when we were living in Seattle. And I think it was a large magazine like Better Homes and Gardens or Ladies Home Journal or something about this organization. And I did a little checking and I discovered that they had a chapter in the Seattle area, actually the Bellevue, Redmond area. So my husband and I had a little bit of interest after reading that article, and we decided to go to the puppy class to kind of see what this was like. And we were hooked. We walked into this class, and there were probably 30 dogs, all ages from maybe 8 or 9 weeks old up to a year and a half at different stages of training, and all very well behaved and learning the same commands. And we decided we'd apply for a puppy and give it a try. And we've kind of been hooked ever since.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know, but did you guys start the Inland Northwest chapter up
Yeah,
here?
we did. When Jim and I moved over here, I had just retired for the second time, and decided to get a puppy. It had been a while since I had a puppy to raise, so I got a puppy and was walking around town, and I had a lot of people asking me about the dog that I had at the time. His name was Falcon, and the yellow vest, and what does it all mean? And I would, have that 30-second elevator conversation with him about Canine Companions. And then I started to get invited to some of the civic groups here locally, like Kiwanis and Rotary and Community Assistance League, and began giving presentations. So I could see that there was a little bit of interest, so I thought, well, maybe I'll go ahead and form a chapter here. So I had a workshop. I offered a workshop and kind of advertised it. And from there, we started with a few puppy raisers, and that's kind of how the whole thing came together.
So awesome.
We've been lucky that we've had new puppy raisers come on board each year.
Yeah.
And our chapter covers Eastern Washington, the Spokane area, even as far down as Central Washington, Tri-Cities area, through northern Idaho and up into western Montana. So our chapter covers a pretty good size area.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something we definitely needed here. And so I'm glad that you brought that to this area.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little bit of history about Canine Companions?
Sure I can. They actually started in 1975 with the idea that a couple people had in Northern California, knowing guide dogs and the work that the guide dogs do for those that have sight impairments. There was some thought that, gee, why couldn't these dogs do other things for other disabilities? And so a couple people got together, and if I remember right, it was like in had a garage office, how it started, and again in 1975, and trying different types of dogs and seeing what dogs would work well, would pick up the commands and bring things to people and this and that. And then it grew to be a very large organization all these years, and now they are the largest and most respected true service dog organization in the country.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so incredible.
And we've placed over 7,000 dogs at no cost to an array of disabilities. If you think about like MS, cerebral palsy, spina bifida, Huntington's disease, hearing dogs, PTSD dogs, just about every disability you can think of. The only dogs that we don't provide, obviously, are guide dogs.
Okay.
Skipper. You stay off.
Like
Guide dogs, because they do a good job with providing dogs for sight impaired, and we actually have a very good relationship with guide dogs, Canine Companions and guide dogs.
Okay.
And also dogs that have, people that have issues like, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say here, is like, would be like a scent type, a seizure.
Okay.
That the dog needs to pick up a scent for that.
He's like, I'm getting that treat, Lily.
He wants some love right now because I'm talking to you, and he wants the attention.
It's like the attention.
Yeah. So just about every disability, Down syndrome, autism, many. I think there's 62 disabilities that our dogs have gone to and continue to go to, all at no cost.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
the great thing about
Yeah.
this program. So you kind of went over some of the services. I know that you said that they can do PTSD for vets. So there's veteran things. And I've also noticed, too, that they sometimes go to maybe police departments.
Well, in the case like that, it would be a facility dog.
Okay.
And they aren't acting as actually a police dog like you and I know them, where they go out and chase someone.
Yeah.
They're actually acting as a comfort dog.
Okay.
They're actually working with, for instance, at WSU, we have a dog there that's a facility dog, and he handles situations that come up where there's trauma involved.
Sure.
Anything that could happen on campus for any reason, the dog is there to be with that person.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very similar to Ken here in Sandpoint that Lily Brook has.
Okay.
Yeah, Peggy probably has.
So maybe like comfort through trauma kind of situations.
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome. Wow. So you mentioned some of the disabilities that the dogs go to. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that?
Well, if you think about task-oriented dogs, these dogs are trained to get something from you, or for you, to go in the refrigerator and get a bottle of water and bring it to you.
Okay.
And this is done by a pull that might be on the refrigerator handle door, so they're trained to go and open the door and to close the door.
Okay.
They're remote control to bring anything that as able-bodied people, we don't think much about that because we just lean over and get what we need.
Right.
But if someone dropped their keys, for instance, and they're just waiting for someone to come by to help them, the dog does that for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So I'm imagining that this is a pretty extensive training process that they go through. Can you tell us about the training process?
For us as puppy raisers, it's volunteer, and what we do is teach them basic obedience skills and socialize them.
Okay.
So our job is to teach them about 30 different obedience skills, much like what you might learn in a basic obedience class, but extended a little bit. And, excuse me. And so we do that. We work and socializing, and that's why we do take our dogs with us most everywhere we go once they're old enough that they can be trusted.
Yeah.
That they're trained and potty trained, and we won't have any accidents. So we take them with us to restaurants where they go under the table and stay in an under command, and we just about everything, grocery stores. And again, this isn't done until you know your pup is trustworthy.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's about 30 total commands that we're teaching them while they're with us.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So a little bit more than maybe the basic obedience class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, so that's we get them at about 8 weeks old.
Okay.
And then at about 18 months is when they return to Santa Rosa for their professional training.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is that where they kind of learn how to maybe turn lights on and off?
Yeah, that's where they learn all the tasks that they're going to be doing when they
Wow.
graduate.
So
right.
what other kind of tasks do they learn? I know you said that they learn how to pull maybe refrigerator doors
Yeah,
open
and sometimes they
close.
actually will pull a wheelchair for someone.
Wow.
Take socks off, take things out of the dryer. If someone, for instance, I'll just use this as an example because I know a young man that has MS, and the dog is trained to actually pull his socks off his feet for him.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and to bring him whatever he needs. And I know another situation where a young woman cannot bend over to get things out of the clothes dryer, so the dog has taught to go actually right into the dryer and carefully take out the
That
clothes
is
and put them in a
so
laundry
neat.
basket. Yeah.
Wow. So these are very highly trained dogs.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Yeah.
So another question that I was thinking of was that I noticed that Canine Companions has their own award-winning breeding program,
They
and
do.
you said that it's in Santa Rosa, and that I think it's primarily Labradors and Golden Retrievers.
Yes,
Okay.
Labradors, Golden Retrievers, or a cross of the two. And they've been doing these genetic studies for years, and they found that those two breeds are just the very, very best for this type of service.
Yeah, very friendly, very.
Yeah, and they want to retrieve.
Yeah,
they want to go get things.
They have a job that they want to do.
Right.
So why don't you guys use shelter dogs at all?
That's a really good question. Early on, they did work with shelter dogs.
Okay.
But we have so many people on the waiting list, and the results that we need, the success rate, is just not the same. And so they discovered that breeding their own dogs specifically for this duty is the best success rate they can get, so we can get the people off the waiting list.
I
for
like
these
that
dogs.
a lot. I think that's a really neat idea that they had. I mean, in that case, you're kind of making sure your clients get the best that they can
Yeah,
get.
we constantly have 400 people on the waiting list. It's just,
Wow.
Disabilities just keep happening. And in order for us to stay up with that, we need puppy raisers and graduate dogs that are going to be able to fill that demand.
Wow. So I know we keep kind of mentioning that once the applicants are accepted, it's at no cost to them.
It is.
So can you tell me a little bit about the process to obtain a service dog like this?
Yeah, I will tell you that Canine Companions is a 501c3 charity.
Okay.
And their mission is to provide highly skilled dogs to an array of disabilities and follow-up care for the life of that partnership at no cost. So because of that, this is the organization people go to. Let's face it, folks just don't have a lot of money, particularly if they have disabilities. Their, health care costs are high, and in order to get them the help that they need, to come to an organization like ours that has, kind of the leader in the field,
Sure.
is what they want to do.
Yeah. And I think I might have asked you at one point, but when the training is all said and done, how much are these dogs worth?
Each dog that's matched with their partner is valued at $50,000 each. So everything is taken care of. We take no funds from the recipient of the dogs. There is a qualification process that they must go through, a vetting, so to speak.
Sure.
And it begins with visiting the website and filling out an application or a request for an application. And from there, you get an application in the mail. You'll have phone interviews and then personal in-person interviews. And this all takes about a year.
Okay.
Before all this is actually can get yourself on the list, or maybe a little less than a year. But then you'll be on that list until they feel that your name is coming up on the list, and you can come to Canine Companions and find your match.
So how old is the dog when they get matched to the person?
At least 2.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere between 2, maybe a year and 2 years and 4 months, 2 years to 2 years and 4 months. They usually, when they leave us, they're about 18 to 19 months, and then they have 6 to 9 months additional training after that.
Okay.
So nothing.
How long after that is the dog usually with the matched person?
Well, that can vary. They usually work 6 to 8 years.
Okay. Wow.
And some dogs will work a little longer. Some dogs have a little more spunk than other dogs, and they're visited every year. So Canine Companions stays in touch with the partner and makes sure the dogs are healthy, they're not overweight, and if there's any concerns or changes that need to be made, that they can help with that. And they also can kind of evaluate them at that time and say, gee, how's this dog doing? He's getting up in age.
Okay.
But I've seen some dogs still working at 10 years old.
Wow.
So it just depends on the dog.
Yeah, some dogs really enjoy that. They like being able to have something
They
like
do.
that to do.
Yeah. And in those cases, in most cases, the family will still keep the dog as a pet. But then they can get another dog, and they don't have to go through the same long process that they went through the first time. because they now have top priority because they need a dog. They've had a dog for 6 or 8 years, and then they'll go to the top of the list and get a dog again.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
so there are we have some graduates on their 3rd and 4th dogs.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you can actually. You can get more than one dog
You can get
if you
more than one
qualify
dog.
for it.
Yeah, you can
Wow,
get more
that
than
is
one
so
dog.
cool.
Yeah.
So, another thing is, I was kind of going over some of the statistics, and so I noticed that you guys have like 4,700 active volunteers.
Yes.
1,000 puppy raisers, and we kind of talked about that in the Northwest chapter here. So, just for people's curiosity, if they want to participate in this, what is the process? What does the process of puppy raising involve?
Puppy raising. Yeah, puppy raising. Everything is on the website, canine.org. And if you're thinking about puppy raising, that's a great place to go. It kind of tells you what's expected of you. We do this at our own expense. It's kind of another way to volunteer. You can write a check to your favorite organization, or you might consider raising a puppy.
Sure.
Again, without puppies, we don't have graduate dogs. So in order for us to fulfill that mission of getting more dogs to people that need them, we need puppy raisers.
Yeah.
But the process is filling out an application. Then there's a telephone interview for the puppy raiser. You can have other dogs in your home. If you don't have a very well-behaved dog, I wouldn't suggest probably taking on a puppy, because these dogs, we want them to be calm and well-behaved. And so if there's a problem dog in the house, it's probably not a good idea. But you certainly can have a couple other dogs in the house at the same time, or cats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have families that are raising puppies. It's great for children to see how to give back, learn how to give back. And oftentimes those kids will take it on after they leave their household and they're still raising puppies.
What a great impact that would have on their lives.
Yeah. So after the phone interview is a home visit. And out here, it's usually me that comes out. And I'm not looking for dirty dishes in the sink. I'm just looking for a safe home, a home that's rather calm, not too chaotic, and a person that will agree to follow the Canine Companion ways of raising a puppy.
Yeah.
We all do the same. We follow the same process. Canine Companion gives you everything you need for that success.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
We have online training classes. We have training classes here at Forest Bird Charter School twice a month. And we all help each other out here locally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it must be like a tight-knit little family.
It is.
Yeah.
We have this saying that you join for the dogs and you stay for the people, because it is really a tight-knit
that's so
group.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I know that probably this is one of your most asked questions, but how do you deal with having to separate from the dog that you've helped raise after 1.5 years?
Well, I'm not heartless, and it hurts each time. It's a commitment that I've made to take someone off the waiting list, to be able to get the dog I raised to someone off on the waiting list. And I always shed a few tears when it's time for turn-in. It's time for the dog to leave me to go on to advanced training with the professional trainers. But then we get progress reports each month, and we follow along to see how they're doing. And if all goes well, we're going to get that phone call that says Tilly is graduating as a hearing dog.
Wow.
And you can come down and present the dog to its new family. And that is the most rewarding and spectacular experience ever, because that's what we do this for. And then that's kind of like, it completes the full circle.
Yeah.
We get the dog, we go through the training, we have a little heartache, but look at the result.
No kidding.
So that's why we do it. And then we get another puppy and start all over again.
Yeah. That's really incredible.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like has been your biggest takeaway in puppy raising?
Beside the people, the wonderful dogs that Canine Companion breeds, and just the joy of the people we've met along the way, and the graduates. It's really emotional to go and to a graduation, because the graduate is ever so grateful. They've been on that waiting list for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And they're just so thankful to everything you've done as far as raising a puppy. So I think it's just the whole full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
very, very rewarding.
That's amazing. So lastly, how can our viewers get involved? What other kind of opportunities are there to volunteer in Canine Companions?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know not everyone can puppy raise. We're always looking for puppy raisers. But my other goal is in this community, moving up here and not having serviced many servants' dogs at all, really none to speak of, almost none, is to just educate people that our dogs are available and you possibly could have a dog.
Yeah.
And, go through the process and see if it'll work for you. Volunteer opportunities. Gosh, we're always looking for people to help us with fundraisers.
Okay.
Sometimes we have schools that take on a fundraiser, or Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, a mentoring group. We had a great fundraiser at Forest Bird Charter School a couple years ago, Pennies for Puppies.
Oh, that's so cute.
And it just teaches kids, again, how to give back,
Yeah.
So I understand that raising a puppy isn't always for everyone, but there are other things. And then, like, we do the 4th of July, so you could help decorate our float on the 4th of July. We're in the parade every year.
Yeah, that's right.
There's things that kids can do. Sometimes we set up a little stand outside a grocery store with a dog, and kids can come and help man the stand so we can talk about Canine Companions.
Yeah, and who
Yeah.
doesn't love dogs?
Yeah, yeah. And we usually have a puppy with us wherever we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
like your little mascot kind
Yeah.
of following you around.
And businesses can get involved too. We just recently had a wonderful fundraiser at I Saw Something Shiny downtown.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They did a month-long fundraiser for us in the store where they sold our little black fur service dogs.
Oh, that's
actually
cool.
for a donation.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth also gave away a beautiful gift basket that was auctioned off. So there's just, we're always looking for businesses that maybe want to, if their employees want to give back or they want to see their employees give back, we'll come up with an idea that we can work together on.
That'd be
to
awesome.
help with a fundraiser, or we have some businesses, some larger businesses that step up. You can actually name a dog in your name with a
Wow.
$10,000 donation.
I was going to ask you about that too, because I was like, who chooses the name? Do you guys pick the name?
No, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
No, that's a good question to ask. We have breeder caretakers that live within 90 miles of Santa Rosa.
Okay.
So these are the families that house the mother and father dogs that are breeding our puppies.
Yeah.
So they're now kind of their pet dog, but they're caring for them for Canine Companions. And so the breeder caretaker, once a litter is whelped, they are told that they have a particular letter of the alphabet. For instance, in Skipper's litter, it was the letter S.
Okay.
So all the puppies were named under the letter S.
S.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so the breeder caretaker submits their suggestions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a little
neat.
perk that they get for
That they get
help.
to actually name the dog.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyone with a $10,000 donation can name a dog.
Wow.
So if there's anybody out there, any business out there that would like to do that or raise funds to do that,
How fun is that?
Yeah.
So are you the main contact for the Inland Northwest
yes,
chapter?
I've been the chapter president for the last 3 years. I just gave that up to Bonnie Wakefield, who's in Spokane.
Okay.
But I am community resource, so community outreach. And so I go out, I'm sort of the one that does the presentations over here, and Bonnie does them in Spokane area, or we do them together oftentimes. But
Yeah.
I just stepped down from that position, but I'm still as involved as ever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're so grateful that you took the time to speak with us, and I'm very happy that we have people like you that are almost like an advocate for people with disabilities.
We
you
are.
know, to have these animals that they have a right to have these animals.
They do.
I think that's so wonderful, and I think that definitely should be an encouragement to all our viewers out there that we need some more puppy raisers.
Yeah, we do.
So if you would like to know how to grow hope in our community, to learn how to give back, always check on Volunteer Connect for opportunities. You can go to canine.org to find out more information about Canine Companions and how you can be involved. And just keep on the lookout for Lily and her wonderful friend Skipper that
Yes.
she's brought with her. And just stop by and talk with her and see how you can help and what they're all about. So
Okay.
we hope you enjoyed this program, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to today's episode. For more information, you can go to crecidaho.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. We will see you again soon.